All right, you guys, today is a special treat because we have an entire line of turbocharged minis that are all running and making boost and amazing, waiting for their owners. So check this out. I'm gonna start them all for you. These are not just works in progress. These are finished, ready to go cars. So watch this, I'm gonna start them all. There you go. They're all alive. It's alive. Look at this. Woo! Check it out. Come here, let's do this real quick. Let me show you. Fuel injected 1300 with specialist components, fuel injection and EFI throttle body. GT15 turbo. GT15 turbo on a 1300 SPI/MPI with specialist components, EFI, throttle body, and fuel injection. 998 turbocharged mini on the blow-through carburetor setup. GT15 turbo, all the jet motors, ignition, blow-through turbo kit. It's on the website. Another 1300 A+. This is a blow-through carb kit on an SPI. This has the blow-through carb, the jet motors, ignition, the GT15 turbo. 1300 SPI motor installed in a mini pickup truck with the GT15 turbo kit from Jet Motors, the blow-through carb, and the ignition system. We save a little treat for the end, little dessert here. This is a belt-driven Roadtrack supercharger on an MPI with the specialist components, throttle body, and fuel injection. And then we have the twin cam 16 valve fuel injection with individual throttle bodies, also from specialist components. Another bad boy, check it out. All running, all ready to go. Amazing. So let's go talk turbos. All right, you guys, so here we are today talking turbos. This is Turbo Talk, right?
Yep.
Right.
So we're going to answer some questions, some misconceptions, and maybe clue you in a little bit more as to what is involved in the Jet Motors Turbo Kit. So today I have Paul Schultz. He's my right-hand man in our shop. Paul, you've installed more turbos than any human in history, I would imagine.
I would think so. About 50.
So far. Yeah, that's
50.
just here.
Yeah,
And counting.
Not to mention the ones that we've shipped. All right, and then of course we have our engineer, supreme leader, Rob Clark. Rob, thank you so much for your diligence and hard work on our turbo kits. This is not your first rodeo either, is it?
It's probably the second rodeo.
All right, so to begin with, I have a list of questions for these two, and I'll pipe in here and there, but here we go. So number one, guys, why did you choose a GT15 turbo over the GT17 or GT20?
That's a great question. We tried a lot of
I'll ask
turbos.
both of you. Paul, what's your answer?
It really is.
Yeah.
The reason I like the GT15 is that it builds boost very early.
How early?
Like 1,500, 2,000 RPM, we start making boost, especially on the 1275s. 1,000 is a little later, but still, it's great. And it just gives you a lot of mid-range torque. We weren't looking to make race motors. We were looking to make a daily driver and a good power adder, and we achieved that. We doubled our horsepower.
That's true. Now, it's not that we haven't tried the GT17 or the GT20.
We've tried that.
And what happens?
They boost late.
Yeah,
You
about how
decom-
late?
Yeah, a lot later, like 3,500.
Oh, yeah?
And so you're
Yeah, 4,000.
The one I drove was 4,500.
you're zinging them all the time.
It just came on with this big old...
Big
whoa!
leg.
But it did go, whoa, didn't it?
Yeah, they're rocket ships, but then, I don't know how long those motors are going to live running like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And Rob, what's your answer?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you can choose a lot of different turbos for these cars. There's really no right or wrong answer. It really depends on what you want
Exactly.
your turbo to do.
That's right.
We designed these to be the best turbo for the most applications.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who just want a really fun car to drive.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Yeah.
We
We're
made
going
it
to
fun.
get to some of those questions here,
Yeah.
so let's just keep moving
So
along. We don't want to bore you guys, but
Right,
we'll...
so just so people know though,
Yeah.
we have tried a lot of different kinds of turbos too. When you say a GT15, that means there's a lot of ranges of GT15s that we've tried. We haven't this is not our first time we tried a GT15. We've probably tried, I don't know,
A lot of
5, 6, 7, 8 different ones.
Yeah.
We've tried bigger ones, smaller ones. We've looked at the compressor
The AR
charts
housings.
of all the different compressor sides,
Yeah.
the turbine side. We've
Yeah.
looked at a lot of different things to try to find the best balance between performance.
I'm going to
And
put a
lag.
link at the bottom of this
Yeah.
video that shows me and Rob talking about how much effort and time goes into putting these kits together prior to shipping them to you, because we don't just take a turbo and put it in a box and send it to you. There's some grinding, there's some filing, there's some adding the helper springs, there's a lot.
There's
right?
a lot
So
of
we'll put
parts
that
to the
video
kit.
in there too.
Yeah.
Let's look at another question. How much horsepower versus stock?
Well, these engines don't put out a lot of power. 30, 40, 50
That's right.
horsepower on a good day.
Hey,
when
I
it's
want to
properly
say
tuned.
something there. A lot of people have fantasies in their head about how much horsepower their Mini makes after they put a carb on it or some 1.5 roller rockers.
Right.
Everybody thinks their horsepower is, I'm making 140 horsepower. No, you're not.
We've done
Yeah.
We've
done
done
it a
on
lot.
way too many to know. It's like when you put it on the dyno, it's like, oh, it's making 50.
Yeah. Well, our goal was to double the power. That
That's
was our
right.
goal.
And we did do that.
And we did do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we bolt a turbo on an 850, a 99, well, come here. Let's keep walking and talking.
Yeah.
Here's one. Here's a 1000. This is a 998cc
Yeah.
motor with a blow-through turbo jet motors kit. It has the ignition, the blow-through carb, and the full kit. These are on the website, and
Yeah.
that's a full kit. You don't need anything else. When we say bolt-on, that truly is a bolt-on.
Right.
Now, how much horsepower would you say the 998 typically makes bone stock without a turbo?
On a good day.
Average one, 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
35.
You
On a good
probably
day.
don't
Properly
believe that, but
tuned.
that's true.
At the
tuned.
wheels, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we're always talking wheel horsepower, guys.
Yeah.
We're not talking flywheel
Now
horsepower.
we're talking stock motor there, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bone stock,
Yeah.
just as it came,
Right.
right?
Right, because we have a dyno that we actually can measure the power in these,
That's right.
and they're not going to really snap your neck.
No, they're not. We've got a hill that we call Dyno Hill as well, because we're at 1,000 feet up here. So coming up that hill from sea level, 1,000 feet, it's Dyno Hill. So yeah, we know what a 998 stock feels like going up that hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's slow.
It's not going to surprise you.
No, it's
in
not.
any
You're
way.
bouncing between second and third the whole way up.
But when you put a turbo on it,
Yes.
You could pull third all the way up.
Now-
You can pull third. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, again, it's not a rocket ship. This is not making,
Right.
120 horsepower. This is maybe making 80,
80
if you're
probably.
lucky.
Yeah.
75.
Our goal is to try to double it. So if you're making 70 at the wheels, that is really good.
Now,
that's what we want.
that's more than a bone stock 1275.
Yeah, but
Right.
you know what I like most about them? It's that low mid-range torque.
Yes.
Yep.
And that is what really makes a difference.
Yeah.
You just roll around, you're not downshifting
Yeah.
all the time. You hit a hill, you just roll the throttle, boost comes up, and away you go.
Yeah,
You
right
know?
on.
Yeah,
That's a good
so
answer,
much
Paul.
better.
And I think
It's so
the other
much
thing
better.
is, too, you're not talking about two-stroke power that's real peaky.
Yeah.
Like if you put a big turbo on, it's real peaky power.
Yeah.
You want that big, broad V8 power. We got a big torque curve.
Yeah.
Super
That's
linear.
what you want. You want
Yeah.
that big spread torque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can really feel everywhere, all the way to redline.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So let's keep walking, because the next question is, how much boost pressure? So
Well,
Now
we go
that's
from a
another good
998 to a 1300 A+. This was an SPI car. So I'm going to jump forward to a question, which is,
how easy is it to bolt a Jet Motors turbo kit on an SPI car?
Super easy.
Now, why?
Super
Paul
easy.
loves those.
Well, your fuel system's already there.
Bingo, that's right.
Yeah, you just took a bunch of time out of the job. A long day.
Yeah.
I bet I can have it on the ground running.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah. So we were just talking about that. Paul can traditionally do a car come into the shop and in about 10 hours
Yeah.
pull out and it's all tuned and ready to deliver a customer in about 10 hours.
Now, that's a pro.
That's a pro. That's Paul.
Just
Yeah, and he has all the tools set
Right.
up. He has everything dialed. He has it all ready to go. Now, you at home,
Right.
2,
An
3, 4
experienced
days?
mechanic.
Might take a couple days.
Right,
3
an
days,
experienced
4 days,
mechanic,
yeah.
maybe 20 hours.
Okay.
A guy who's never touched a turbo in his life, maybe 30 or 40 hours. So don't be misled that this thing is gonna just put itself together. You are gonna have to spend a little time.
some work.
Paul is kind of amazing. He's been working on cars his whole life.
Yeah.
And
So,
you're
well,
not-
but I also want to say the reason that happens is because the kit is complete.
It's super
Yeah.
simple.
Well, it's also
everything just falls in there.
yes,
Yeah, everything's
but
ready.
the question is it bolt on?
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
ordering any more parts? Are you looking for
Everything's there.
hose
No.
clamps? Are you looking for gaskets? Are you looking for nuts and bolts?
No, it's all there.
So on our website, it's a little misleading because you'll see the price of the turbo kit, and then we kind of made the picture too simple, and even the paragraph too simple as well. There's a header, a downpipe, a turbo, and an air cleaner. That's
But
all you get.
there's 60
No,
parts.
there's 63 line items, which
Yeah.
we're going to change. We're going to put it on the website. You're going to see all 63 parts
Right, there's
that
a
are
lot of
listed
parts.
in just the base kit. That's not even the blow-through turbo kit or the electronic fuel injection, because it truly is bolt-on.
Right.
All right, so
So, my friend, let's go back
Yes.
to boost pressure because
Okay.
that's a question
Yeah.
we love
Yes.
to talk about.
Yes.
Boost pressure.
Well, I like to drive them at 20. But
Yeah.
Now we have
taken
done
them up.
that. So there's been a few videos where you see
Yeah.
my expression a little extravagant, if I must say, because that particular car was making 20 pounds of boost. I didn't have the boost gauge in it. I didn't know what was happening, and I hit the throttle, and it was smoking the tires. And you see me kind of freak out a little bit. That's genuine. I'm not faking it, and I'm not selling it. What I'm doing is crapping my pants.
Yeah.
Because the thing is making like. At 20 pounds of boost, it was almost 200 horse.
Right, the wastegate's set wrong.
Yeah, I know. We had the spring off, we had the
to fix
wastegate
that.
wrong, and it was making 20 pounds of boost, and it was look out, Nora.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So
Yeah.
we came in. I'm like, dudes, guys, it was this car. It was this car.
Make a lot of boost.
It was making a lot of boost. It kind of scared me a little bit. I'm like, whoa.
And just so you know, they will handle boost, but it's
Yeah.
for how long?
Yes.
And that's what we love to talk about in the world of engineering, right?
Yeah.
It's all about stress and life cycles, right? So yes, you can get these to 20 pounds of boost, but for how long? We're always trying to give our customers reliable products, right? So we want this, if you want this thing to last forever, we say 6 to 10
Yes.
PSI. If
Yeah.
you keep it at 6 to 10, it's bolt-on horsepower. It feels way better.
Yeah.
It's way. Jeremy
Yeah.
loves driving them.
I do. And the customers freak out because when they come in and drive
Yeah.
their car after the turbo, they're like, whoa, this really is impressive.
Really
now,
fun.
we don't have anything against making a GT17 or GT20 with forged pistons,
yeah.
crankshaft rods. You want to build a turbo motor? Yeah, we've done it. And it's
A lot
awesome.
of them. Yeah.
But you're going to spend
20, 30 grand.
20,000. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking gearbox too. So, I mean, it's not just an engine.
Right.
It's a power plant. We're talking everything.
Right.
But you're going to spend some money and some time. We didn't want to do that. That wasn't the market we were
That
going
wasn't the
for.
goal, yeah.
We wanted bolt-on, fun, reliable horsepower.
Yeah.
Can the motors be reliable at 6-8 pounds of boost?
All day. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
Because
we
it's
have tons of cars out there.
Yeah.
It's a low stress engine. It's actually a very well built engine. It just needs a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, just give it a little.
Just a
All right,
little
let's
nudge.
keep walking. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, here's another example. This is a mini pickup truck, and we have a 1300 A+. This was an SPI motor, and we added the blow-through turbo kit with the ignition, the turbo, and the carb. And something that we did that was really unique, Ryan taught us this. And that is, how do you do a return line without doing a bung in the tank or sending the tank out and having it be welded in with a bung and doing a return? Paul, you've done 50 or more,
Right.
what'd we do?
We just run the line back down, run into a T, and loop it in after the filter. So
Right.
it's filtered from the
Really?
tank, and it just sits there and turns.
We
It works
stole-
excellent. We're not doing much work.
Yes, we stole the idea from the modern motorcycles.
They do
That's
that,
how they do it. So
Right.
you don't have to take your gas tank out. You don't have to send it out and have a bung put in. You don't need to have a return line to that bung.
Yeah.
Just run your line back to the T. It's going through the fuel pump and back into the regulator. That's all it's doing.
Right. So I think the important thing to note too is that we've been doing this a long time, for years and years. And remember, 5, 6 heads, 6 brains working on this are a whole lot better than just one guy in the garage.
Yeah.
We've got a whole team of guys working together
That's
all
true.
the time, trying this, trying that, to try to make the best turbos for everybody.
The best thing about our kit is you don't have to go around and source a bunch of parts.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're not
like
running
we
around.
did.
Who's going to provide this? What fuel pressure regulator am I using? What
Right.
fuel pump am I using? It just takes all that out.
Yeah.
You want to spend days on the internet like we did,
Yeah.
figuring out what's
Like
going
I
on?
did.
Like
You did.
The engineer
Tons.
did, and we didn't do
Tons
it.
of time.
We-
trying
and
to
we-
find what works
Well,
and
I
what
didn't have to
doesn't.
do it.
Trial and error. We found things that did not work.
Yeah, we
and
did.
it took us, how many years was this in development
Years,
before we
years and
actually
years.
got something together?
Yeah, many, many years. And we found out, we have a whole entire shop full of stuff that didn't work.
we even I went as far with my own motors as
Yeah.
taking compression out of it. Thinking,
Yes,
oh,
I-
we're going to do this.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't do it.
Yeah.
The factory ran 9.4 to 1. I went to 8 to 1. I lost so much bottom end.
Yeah.
That it wasn't fun to drive
Yeah.
on the street. I mean,
Right.
it went really good on the top end, but it just wasn't good for driving.
That's one
around
of the
street.
questions on here. Do you need the decompression plate? Do
No.
you need to lower the compression? Should you?
If you're going to be on a racetrack and you're going
Okay.
to be boosting all day, put an
Right.
intercooler on it and then decompress it. But if
20
you just-
pounds of boost, 200
Right.
horse?
You want
Yeah.
to drive around town? It's
Yeah. Hey,
stock
Paul.
compression works really well.
Yeah, did you trade intercooler?
Yeah.
Oh, that's another question.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let's talk intercoolers. Okay,
Yes.
Paul, did you put an intercooler on
I
your
did.
GT15
I
Turbo
did.
Mini?
I did.
And what
I'm
happened?
running 15 pounds of boost, and I actually lost horsepower.
Really?
There's enough- there's
Why
a-
do you think that happened, Mr.
There was
Engineer?
Yeah,
I
it's
can tell you what,
restricted.
I
Okay,
can-
what do you think happened?
I think there's some restriction in the intercooler, even though I ran a big intercooler.
Yeah.
Also, I think I'm not atomizing the fuel because I'm blow through.
Yeah.
And the air is going in there so cold that it's not atomizing the fuel as well. So I'm
Okay.
not getting as good in its complete combustion.
Right.
Okay.
That's sort of my idea behind that. You know, you'd have to do some research
Right.
for that, but I think
Right.
that's what's happening.
Let's talk to
Intercooler
Now this
would
is
know.
hey, this is what's great, guys.
The engineer
Right.
may know.
You got the salesman, you got the real world
The guy
guy,
that runs
and
it.
then you got the engineer.
You got the nerd.
So come on, nerd.
You got the
Come here,
nerd,
nerd.
right.
Well, everybody knows intercoolers work because they all have them in all their cars. My car has an intercooler. We know they work. It's all about charge density, right?
Okay.
Everybody knows the charge density. It's getting as many air molecules in that engine as you can, right?
That's right.
But the biggest challenge that Paul had with his, he had to have a lot of piping, even though he's using 2-inch pipes
Yeah.
to this really beautiful big air.
Now he has a
Air
Clubman.
cooler,
I got a
but-
club and lots of room.
So the Clubman took that intercooler.
yeah.
It was beautiful. It's
Right.
still in there.
it's still there. I still use it.
Hey,
yeah.
we're not knocking intercoolers, guys.
Yeah, put
Are
one
we
in if
knocking
you want.
No,
intercoolers?
they're
No,
great.
they're great.
Okay,
They're great.
They work.
intercoolers are great. Do you need it on this?
Not for
not
us.
for what we're doing
because we're
on a
running
street
low
car.
boost. We're not running 22 psi like I was on my Mustang.
Okay.
You know, we're not running all this boost pressure.
Yeah.
So it really does help.
it's easy.
And if you have room in your Mini, great.
Yeah, go
Put
ahead.
one in.
Yes.
You'll make more power with an intercooler.
Again, we didn't include one because we didn't see any horsepower gains. We didn't
Right.
see any torque gains. Maybe there was a little, but we didn't
And the
see it.
complexity was way up.
cost issues,
The cost-
complexity of doing it.
complexity.
Yes, that's where
We
I was
want something
going.
That's a reasonable price.
Yeah.
You want to spend $30,000 getting a turbo mini in your Mini or a turbo engine in your
Yeah.
Mini, or
Right.
do you want to spend $2,900?
Right,
You
right.
know?
And you can. I mean,
And you can.
So there's 3 kits on the website. You have the base kit, the blow-through turbo carb kit with the ignition, and then you have the electronic fuel injection, which we are getting from Specialist Components. Here it is. So here's a Specialist Components fuel injection and throttle body. Now this is on a Roadtrek supercharger, but guys, come on, let's get in close here. And why did we choose the Specialist Components throttle body and EFI with the Delta 400 computer?
Because they're bolt on. They're beautiful.
They're there.
Yeah.
Come closer.
They work.
It's really well engineered.
Yeah.
Yeah. They work great. I
So,
mean, we love Specialist Components.
This is out of the box. John over there at Specialist Components is a genius. Really smart fella.
Yeah.
He has helped us so much because we've got a lot of these out in the world, and we had to learn how to program them and tune them. And so our turbo base, or a base map, comes with the turbo kit. It's already preloaded on the Delta 400, and it really is plug and play. Now, that doesn't mean that it's done. No. You do still need to tune it, right?
You got to take it to a tuner.
That'll get you driving.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it'll get you going.
It'll
get you to the tuner so he can fine tune all your transients.
Yeah, you can drive around the block, see how it feels, but you need to do some readings. You need to plug it into a laptop, and away you go.
And our map is for stock motor too.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not for anything.
Every motor's a little
that's
different.
Modified.
Yeah.
So again, we chose John at Specialist Components because this was out of the box, plug and play. We've bolted on a lot of them, and we know how they work, and we know that they'll work for you. So let's keep going because there's a little treat here at the end. What is this?
Hey, Jeremy, do you want to talk about supercharger?
Oh, yeah.
This is supercharger?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a belt-driven Rotrex supercharger, also from Specialist Components. This was an MPI Mark 7 Mini, and this was truly a bolt-on kit as well. Now, we did have to fabricate the intake charge pipe. We did some real custom things here because this did need a lot of
a lot of love.
Yeah, a lot of love, and a lot of love went into it. And the thing is unreal. It really is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Makes tremendous torque, great horsepower. But what do you want to talk about?
I think, why did we go down the road of a turbocharger versus a supercharger? That was something that we talked about a lot of times, a lot of different ways.
We had a lot of meetings.
A lot of meetings, a lot of discussions about why a turbo instead of a supercharger.
We build boosts with our turbochargers sooner than this does.
Yeah.
Our top end horsepower at the same boost levels is really similar, but we just get there a little quicker.
Yeah. That's right.
And it really is. You'd think a supercharger would be quicker because it's belt driven,
right?
But it's also engine RPM oriented.
Right. And then the easiest answer is, what is the automotive world doing?
Yeah.
Why did the whole automotive world move to turbochargers and away from superchargers?
Yeah.
You know, it's just efficiency.
Less drag and efficiency.
Yeah, it's just efficient. You know, our compressors are spinning over 100,000 RPM. They're more efficient. That's what it all comes back to. Is the name of the game is efficiency.
Yeah.
They make more power more efficiently.
Nerd here did a lot of calculations, and we fought back and forth. We had a lot of arguments because I really wanted a GT17 or even the GT20, and you're like, no, Jeremy, you don't want that, because I'm reading the internet, I'm going all over, and everybody says they're running GT17, Rob. That's what we're supposed to do.
And they do work great. Yeah, we did.
We tried it, and you're like, see, I told you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And they do work, but
here's what I found out. Here, look. This GT15 turbo is what they're using on the side-by-sides and the Polaris, the Sea-Doo, Yamaha. That's what you found out.
A similar size.
1 liter, 1.3 liter. How much CFM can that motor produce, and what size turbo do you put on it?
Right, but they have 16 valve.
Yes.
I mean, they've got 4 valves per cylinder. We've got 2. So the efficiency of this engine is a lot different than a modern engine.
And they're still using GT15s.
Yeah, they're using a similar size compressor. Yeah.
Right. Let's look at some of these questions here. Let's talk about ignition timing. So let's pick one with a distributor here. Come here, Paul. So here we have a Pertronix Igniter 1. Right. We stopped using the Igniter 2. You really got mad at me. You're like, stop ordering those Igniters 2. I don't want those anymore. Get me the Igniter 1. The Igniter 2 works great on a non-boosted motor. They're fine. But we found that on the boosted motors, the Igniter 1 was working better. You could set the timing. It wasn't doing a dual spark, and your timing light wasn't scattering.
Right. We had more stable ignition.
Right.
With
where are you setting the ignition?
It depends on how much boost we're running.
Right. Okay.
I get at least at low boost levels, pull a degree of timing out for every pound of boost.
Okay.
So some of the cars, if I'm running 8 pounds of boost, I'm setting the timing overall at 24 degrees. But then the motors where we're running 15, I've gone way back to like 16 to 18 degrees overall.
Okay.
And keep it from hurting itself. Timing's real critical. You can hurt I don't care if it's a non-boosted motor. You start cranking a lot of timing into something, it's really hard on the rings. So you want to keep away from that.
So that's at 4,000 RPM with really good top dead center marks with the vacuum advance disconnected. This is true mechanical advance. We want those springs spooled all the way out. so that you're only looking at mechanical advance, not any vacuum, okay?
Right.
So those are your numbers.
Right. As soon as you start to build boost, you lose. And you need to run a vacuum distributor so that you have correct timing when you're
Correct.
off a boost.
Right.
You
And
know?
do the vacuum distributors work with a turbo?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. We learned that too. Yes, they do.
We figured that out.
So
Yeah.
we've got another question from our viewers here. How do I know if my engine is ready for a turbo? Who wants to go with that?
Well, I think you've worked on so many, but it's really simple.
Okay.
Does it run well? Does it have good compression?
Do a
Yeah.
compression
Do a
test.
compression check.
You know, does it rattle? Is it tight? How many
Right.
miles does it have on it? You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
you wouldn't want to take a totally wore out scattered motor that's got a weak cylinder and throw 10 pounds of boost at it.
Right.
What would you like to see the cranking compression for the viewers? I mean, where do you want to see it?
You know, we see a lot of cranking compressors like a 185 around
Okay.
there, you know. To decompress, especially the 1000, is just not a good idea with a turbo. It just makes them lazy.
They're hard to start
They
too.
don't have enough torque to begin
Right.
with.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you lose a little bit on the top, but you're picking a lot more up in the middle, and it makes the car just much more pleasurable
Yeah.
to drive.
Right.
You know?
So, Paul, if I had a car that only had 150 psi on most of the cylinders or higher, would that still be okay?
That would be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we see it. We see 1275s with 150.
Okay.
Yeah.
cranking. It's
yeah.
right.
No
not
more.
on a 1000 so much. I've learned the 1000s you really need more compression
Right.
to spool that turbo
Right.
early and have it work, feel okay
Yeah.
driving it.
And we have the turbo moke here. We should have put it in the
Yeah,
lineup.
we do have an
We
850.
Moke turbo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
we got a.
and we over doubled the horsepower.
Yes,
of that.
we did. So it
And that's
rolled
real fun.
24 horsepower on the dyno at the wheels, bone stock, 850 mini moke.
I thought it was 18 horsepower.
No,
Yeah.
that was another one.
Yeah.
It was ill-tuned. But my tuned 850
We made
was
over-
making 24 horsepower
Yeah.
at the wheels. We put the turbo on. We
Over
changed.
50.
Yeah.
We changed nothing else, and we made over 50 horsepower.
Yeah.
Horsepower out of an 850.
We only had 11 pounds of boost.
I know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. We did find that the 1.5 rockers on the 850 helped it
Yes.
like a lot. We were struggling, tuning.
Needs air.
It
Yeah.
needed some more
So
air.
we did
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
We did put 1.5s on.
Yeah.
All right. What year cars will these
Ooh,
fit?
that's an easy one.
You ready? Go.
Every car made.
Every classic
59
mini.
Yep.
2000.
59
You
to
got it.
2000. That's right. So carbureted.
single one.
SPI, MPI.
Yeah.
Because we have them all here. We have.
tried them all.
What's Eric got? He's had those other cars.
Yeah.
Awesome America.
Oh, that's right.
Have we tried it?
How about an
Well,
ADO
I
16?
wonder if it fit more.
Absolutely. More room.
I think it would.
Yeah, we'll do an ADO
Yeah,
16
Paul,
next.
You
Yeah,
put
they,
in
They never have enough power.
That's
That'd be a
right.
good deal.
over 50 minis. I think you have tried.
We haven't
so
we
many
haven't
weird
turboed
ones.
in Austin, America, so maybe we'll call
Yeah.
Eric Newland and
Yeah.
say, get over
Yeah,
here,
so
let's
we
turbo.
gotta
you."
try it.
Okay. All right, that's right. So yes, you can turbo any of
Maybe
your
we'll
minis.
come up with
Any
something for
mini.
an MG.
Yeah, there you go.
Make it
We've
do
had
that
somebody
or-
ask.
Yeah, do an MG.
Is an oil cooler necessary?
Hey, if you want to put
You
one
know,
in, great.
If you're on a racetrack.
Yeah, if you're on a racetrack, great. If you want it on the street, nah, you don't have to worry. But hey,
We're in Oregon. We're
Yeah.
climate
Yeah.
around here.
What
Yeah.
about Arizona, California,
You know,
Texas?
Yeah.
you might want to think about it. Yeah.
Well, here's
Couldn't
my
hurt,
thought.
couldn't hurt.
You know, modern motor oils are so good. And what
Oh,
temperature
yeah.
are they designed to run at?
They are better. Yeah.
oh yeah,
I
well,
mean, so if modern
250,
motor oils, I could see an oil
300,
cooler
yeah.
back in the 60s, but today the oil is
oils
so
are so
good.
good.
I got to say, if you have an oil cooler,
Yeah.
our turbo doesn't interfere with that at all.
That's
Just
right.
Continue to run your oil cooler you
Look,
already have. If
you have an
want
oil
to
cooler
compress,
right here.
Yeah,
It's-
no problem.
Yep, it'll fit.
Yeah.
Everything fits.
yeah,
Why use a thermal blanket? Why put a turbo blanket on?
Keeping the heat off the hood.
yeah,
Oh, right here.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just keeping the heat
Keep
off
the heat
hood,
down.
Basically, keep the
right.
heat down.
You want to keep that turbine section hot. You
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
keep it efficient.
And we want to get
You
the
really-
heat out the tailpipe.
Yeah, you want to get as much heat away from that engine compartment.
And
as you
we already
can.
answered the question: supercharger versus turbocharger.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, guys? I think we've asked a lot of questions here.
There's a lot
One
of
thing you haven't discussed that
Yes.
we've had a lot of people ask us.
Okay.
What about cooling? We haven't
Oh,
had
yeah,
any
very good, very
problems.
good.
Really, when you're rolling down the freeway, it only takes like 5 horsepower to roll your Mini. Doesn't matter. The car doesn't care if it's got a 200 horsepower turbo motor. You're not making
Right.
that horsepower all the time.
Right.
The radiator has no problem keeping up.
Yeah.
with our turbo motors. We
Yeah.
haven't had any problems at all.
Yeah. Right.
So people don't worry about that. Do I have to add a bigger radiator? Do I have to do something?
Correct.
You
Make
don't.
sure your cooling
Make sure
system
it's
is
in good
good.
condition.
Yes.
And, you know, you
Yeah,
can't
gotta
take
be
a
sure.
40-year-old radiator and expect it to, you know,
Cool.
make sure. That's why we sell the cooling system kits so that you
get
can
the jet
upgrade your
motors.
cooling
Right.
system.
Exactly.
Look, if your
Look at
cooling
that.
system is over 10 years old, maybe
probably
consider
need to talk
consider
about it.
replacing it.
Right.
It may still be working
Right.
great, but that doesn't mean that you should keep running it.
But horsepower does equal heat.
Yes.
So
Let's
if
say you're going up a
making-
big hill.
You're going
Yeah.
up a hill for a long time, but
Right.
you know what?
Right.
My Mini's been turbo forever. I rip it around on 100-degree days here in Portland,
Yeah.
go up the hill by the zoo, and I'm into it doing like 80.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm not overheating.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
don't know.
You've got the
Yeah.
proper thermostat, a good
Yeah.
cooling
Good
system.
cooling
Yeah.
The
system.
fan
You're
is
gonna be fine.
installed the correct direction.
Right, that makes a difference too.
Yes.
You know?
That's a mini joke for you
Yeah.
aficionados out there. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Hey, let's talk header length, length runners. How important are equal length runners on turbo headers?
If we could have fitted in there, it would have been great. I mean, it's really nice, to, you know, if you can run a special turbo that has the exact, you know, engineered, perfectly tuned runners. I mean, that's ideal in every situation. But we had a major space concern here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to get things to fit in there consistently.
Because we had to
there's a-
work with every year, every make, every
Yes,
model
right.
of every Mini. Now, they're not all the same. There's Mark 1 through Mark 7. There's solid subframe. There's rubber isolated subframe.
Right.
Yeah.
There is difference.
I mean, there's so much distance and space
Right.
issues, not only in the deck height of small bore versus large bore, but also the length of
Right.
the engine from the subframe in later models versus early models.
My opinion is I don't think I mean, it's important to a point, but there's always a ton of back pressure pushing
Yeah.
against that
And it's a
turbo.
Siamese
and
exhaust.
I don't think it makes
Yeah.
that big of a deal until you're looking
Yeah.
for that last few horsepower
Yeah.
at 20 pounds
Yeah.
of boost.
Right.
The level we run, I don't think it's any issue at all.
Yeah.
Right, and we did try a lot of different headers. This
We
is not
did.
the first iteration of the
Header
headers.
3.
Yeah.
This is header 3 for, well, this is 3 of the latest version.
Well, we
there
have
was a
a
lot
fourth.
of, yeah. There's a
have a
lot of other
Yeah.
things that we tried just to get to this generation.
Yeah.
There's a tremendous amount of work that went into these headers.
That's right.
And we found out that they didn't make as big a difference as you would think.
That's true.
It's just trying to get them to fit.
Yeah. And
our first header was just hobcodge.
Yeah, it really was.
Just to experiment. And
but
the
we
rudder
did it.
legs
We
were
made
all
like
different.
we made like 20 of them.
Yeah.
We ran them all.
Yep.
work.
And we figured out what worked and what didn't work. But
we made more.
We,
It
and we
worked good.
We redesigned and make more.
like
and then-
Doritos. We'll make more.
Yeah, yeah.
right.
And then this is really our third generation that we're working on
It
right
is.
now,
Yeah.
and we're always trying to make things better.
Yeah.
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 That's
now,
our goal.
why did you go stainless steel? And it's highly polished and beautiful, I must say.
Looks good.
Because
Looks
it looks good, and stainless really is
It's
the
super
best.
tough. You
Yeah.
can put a
It's-
torch to that, and even
yeah.
when it's red hot, you can barely move it. It's
Yeah.
tough.
The
Yeah.
welds are beautiful. It's by far the best material. 304 stainless. I mean, that's what they make the SpaceX Starship out of. It's
Yeah,
a
right
304
on.
stainless.
We have some turbo kits built. We should walk
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
and
we'll
show
show
them how
you.
beautiful the welds are.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look awesome.
beautiful.
Well, come on in,
welds.
guys. Let's go
Really
ahead and
tough.
walk through there.
Yeah.
All right, so we brought you in the shop so you could see some of our displays. This is a fully built up display of a fuel injected throttle body EFI with the Jet Motors turbo kit. It's literally everything that comes in the kit, all bolted up from the engine's point of view. Come over here and you'll see that we have the complete blow-through carburetor style setup. Again, this is fully complete. We're missing the distributor and the coil and the plugs and the wires because that could sit in the kit too. But here it is again from the engine's point of view. And here's the base kit. And the base kit, again, there's 63 line items from every little gasket, every little T-fitting, your intake plenum and the bolts and the fittings. Your oil return, your oil feed, your air cleaner, your 90-degree elbows, custom fitted, custom made. All this was custom built, and we made a lot of them so that we could supply them to you guys. So anything you guys want to add to these?
Look at the welds.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're just these welds right through
Yeah.
here are just incredible.
I
Yeah.
like the one-piece down pipe. That is not a bunch
Yeah.
of welded pipes together. That's one pipe, one bend.
This took us a long time to get to this point.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to find somebody that had the high level of quality that we wanted.
That's
to
right.
have for our
It was
customers.
really challenging
It
to
was
say
very
the
challenging.
least.
Through a couple different
Yeah, we went through a lot of heartache to get here, but you know, we think this is the best in the market right now.
Yeah.
And remember, there's a lot of different ways to design this thing. There are different designs out there, and we've looked at all of them, and they're all
Some
good.
of them are fantastic.
Some are
I mean, they're
beautiful,
just
too.
mind-blowing.
This is what we thought was best for our customers, and we've had a lot of very happy customers. They love these turbos. They work really well.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So's Paul.
Yeah. And like I said, our whole goal was bolt-on. I mean, look what we do here. I mean, we rebuild engines. You can do amazing things to any engine you want to, but how many people want to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on a race engine?
Well, how many people want to even pull the engine out?
Correct.
Yeah.
No, this is just bolting on something to give you a little more oomph.
And then we didn't get to the 16-valve engine.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful engine, but for a lot of people, that's not doable either. That's
also
a $30,000 engine.
It's very
You know,
expensive.
the whole goal.
Keep in touch.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till you see what
Yeah.
we have up our sleeve.
Yeah, you got it. But like I
You're going to
said,
see something coming soon.
the whole goal, the whole design goal of this was really bolt on power with a stock engine, and not to get it to blow up, but to have it last a long time.
Yeah. And get you on the freeway up
Get
to
you on the
speed.
freeway, and be able to pass people on
Go
the
up
freeway.
hills.
Go up hills, yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, you know, I think that we've answered quite a few of the questions we've received. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out. Send us emails, comment in the video below, whatever. We're happy to answer those questions, and we hope you really enjoyed this very impromptu and natural setting. And I guess we'll see you on the next one, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys.